Today we're going to talk about the messy middle. What happens when you're in the process of shifting identity to shift your reality? Why? Because this is the place, I like to call it the void, where most people give up. This is where most people give up because reality is not shifting fast enough, because things are not coming into their experience in the way that they would like. And so they almost, not even almost, they give up. And it's heartbreaking because what you want exists for you, right? What you want exists for you, what you want exists for you, but it requires a different version of you to show up, right? If you know anything about energy, all the energy that could ever exist, the reason why they say you can have whatever you want, let me break it down so y'all understand. The reason why they say you can have whatever you want is because all the energy that would ever exist is already here right now. Energy cannot be created or destroyed by definition of what energy is. So because all the energy that is here or could ever be here is already here right now, and energy is needed to create the reality that you are seeking for yourself, that you are wanting for yourself, then you already have all that you need energy-wise to create what you want, because it's already here, right? That's what Sugar said. I try and try again. So you indeed can have, if we're talking about physics and the way physical reality works. Hi, RJ. Thank you, baby. You can absolutely have everything that you want. And so knowing that you can have everything that you want, but some people, first of all, back it up, don't understand how energy works. So they think that, okay, yeah, I know that people say you can have whatever you want, but it's not true. I'm created to suffer. I'm not meant to have what I want. Life is hard. Life is, but that's because of the way that your consciousness is rearranged, okay? You have had these experiences. Hey, baby. You have had these experiences in your physical reality as consciousness, okay? Because that's what you are. You are God. You are consciousness. And so you have internalized those experiences as this must be who I am. And so because you have internalized those experiences as this must be who I am, because you're not anchored in your spirit, you don't have that relationship with spirit, you don't have that relationship to self, what you do is you say, because I've struggled, then life must be hard. Because I grew up not having enough, I'm only always going to have not enough, or I'm only going to have just enough. And that's not true. And that's what I want y'all to get through your head is you can literally have whatever you want to do. I mean, you can, there go that fucking retrograde. You can literally have whatever you want. Literally, you can have it all. You were created to have it all. You were created to thrive, not survive. Survival is rooted in fear, and we are, as a collective, are moving away from that. Now, are some people going to stay? Are they going to choose to play out their lessons in fear? Sure, because that's what their soul signed up for. And some people, quite frankly, are too afraid to do the work. Some people, quite frankly, are too afraid to sit in their emotions. Y'all are afraid. The reason why a lot of y'all don't want to do y'all fucking work is because y'all are afraid to feel shit. Y'all are afraid to feel shit because your mind is making you think that if I feel this feeling of unworthiness, if I feel this lack that I've been running from, if I feel this feeling of not enoughness, then somehow I'm going to be in danger. When feeling is just energy moving through you. That's all feelings are, okay? This vessel that you have is a container through which energy is allowed to be expressed and move through you. But y'all make it the end of the world, and it's a lot easier to just skip what you're doing, right? Skip the work and just say, fuck it, because how you're living right now is more familiar to you. And so you're okay with the familiarity, even if it means sabotaging myself from getting where I am to where I want to be. That's the issue. You have to be willing to feel your shit, to sit in your shit, to face your shit, to clear your energy. And a lot of y'all don't want to do that because, fuck, I didn't live this life as much as I have as it is, and I'm okay. I hate it. But maybe I can continue to dream about what I want instead of actually creating what I want for myself. And then a lot of y'all don't even think that you're worthy of having it. Okay? It don't matter how much that part of you wants it, or desires it, or knows it's possible. Your survival identity is so rooted in its experiences of this physical reality that you don't even believe that you're worthy of having it. And so that keeps you exactly where you are. And that's why when you're going through the process of shifting your identity so you can have new reality, you have to have a why that pushes you to keep going. No matter how uncomfortable you feel. No matter if physical reality is not shifting yet. Because what I know to be true is that if y'all really understood, not understood because that's intellectual, if you really understood how this shit works, okay? Life is spiritual. This is all energy. Literally. And if you really understood how it works, you would be willing to show up for yourself because you knew what was going to happen as a result of you showing up consistently. But y'all really don't know. Y'all listen to people like me and say, oh, it sounds nice. And I'm telling you, literally, physics is a thing. Okay? Science is a thing. Metaphysics is a fucking thing. You are an energetic vibrational being. That's true. That's not false. That's true. So for some of y'all, it's hard for you to believe that because you've been taught that you're just this body, you're just this vessel. And again, you're internalizing these human experiences and saying, oh, this must be who I am. Which is proving my fucking point. You see what I'm saying? But if you really knew who you were as a fractal source, as energy in motion, you are an energetic spiritual being, then if you have a consciousness that created lack, clearly you could rearrange that level of consciousness and create one that creates abundance. Hello? If you had a consciousness that attracts a certain type of man or woman, clearly you can rearrange your consciousness to attract better. You already created the shit you don't want. So clearly you are a creator. That's a fact. You've created multiple situations you did not want because you living in fear, because you operated from lack. You know what I'm saying? You created that shit already. A lot of y'all don't realize, oh, I'm going to go to this person so they can teach me how to manifest. You're already manifesting. You already know how to manifest. You're manifesting already. You need to learn how to manifest intentionally. Hello? You're manifesting already. You're just manifesting the shit you don't want because your consciousness is rearranged towards fear. You're operating from fear. It's rooted in fear. So of course, if your consciousness is rooted in fear, hello, you're going to create things that you fear, that you don't want to experience, because that's the level of consciousness that you are operating from. So you're great at creating, babe. You're doing really well, actually. You do it without even trying. But you have an identity, a level of consciousness that says that I lack, that I'm not enough, that I'm not worthy, because you were indoctrinated into a fear-based society, and that was intentional. And so obviously you've internalized that fear-based way of being. Hello? Hello? And so now you've created that for yourself, and your life is a reflection of that fear-based identity. That's it. New Earth is about shifting from fear to love, fear to service, fear to your highest expression of who God designed you to be. All you gotta do is rearrange your fucking consciousness so you can have what you want and not what you don't want. And the gap between where you are and where you want to be is the work. It's the work in the middle. The work is in the middle. Y'all don't want to do the work though. You can't just think positive thoughts and think your way into some fucking money. You can't think positive thoughts and think your way into a beautiful home. You can't think your way into that shit. You have a body that has been programmed with trauma for years, for some of y'all decades. You can't just start thinking positive and things gonna shift because your body's gonna say, no, that's not true. We're not abundant. Because remember that one time as kids when the lights got cut off? Hello? And we didn't have no food? And we didn't have no... Hello? We had to eat top ramen and shit. We had to put... I heard some people talking about they used to put sugar on bread to have some kind of dessert because they didn't have no food. That's people real life. So you can't think your way into what you want. You gotta clear the fucking energy out. Y'all not clearing that shit. Y'all following all these people who talking about... And this would be getting me about y'all. Y'all will go follow Susan, who's talking about, oh, I just kept thinking positive thoughts. Well, Susan did not grow up with the lights getting cut the fuck off, sister. She didn't grow up that way. She got girl, she got stocks and bonds, and her dad didn't set her up as a child. She don't operate from the same level of trauma that you do, babe. So she don't have to do the same work. You see what I'm saying? So when she affirms for herself, because she don't have the same experience from childhood and in her younger years, you know what her body says when she starts to affirm? Oh, we can accept this. This is true. This is true. Because her nervous system don't have that level of trauma. You see what I'm saying? The thing started to shift for me because Rebecca don't have the same kind of trauma that you do, Princeton. So yeah, it's not working for you because you're configured in a different way. So can you manifest? Sure, but you gotta approach your situation a little bit more differently. And you're not doing that. And so then, when the subliminals and shit don't work for you, oh, I must be broken, or I'm supposed to struggle, or this shit is hard as fuck, why is it so fucking... Babe, you didn't grow up the same as Rebecca or Susan or Tyler. So it's going to require you to do something different. You did not grow up like them. You don't have their nervous system. You don't have their subconscious programming. So it's probably not going to... Listen to a few subliminals ain't going to do it for you. I'm so sorry. It's not. Because when you say, I'm abundant, your mind is like, okay, yeah. Even if you're somebody who lives a spiritual life, and you know that you're inherently abundant, your body is saying, nope. 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 That's what your body is saying. And you keep going, I'm abundant, and nothing is shifting for you. Nothing. So what y'all need to learn how to do is realize that your level of healing, your shifting, your identity shifting is going to require more than you listening to subliminals. I forgot what the hell I was even saying because I done went off on a tangent, and this is why I be having my notes. Because when I don't have my notes, I just be yapping. I just be fucking yapping. Yes, Solo Witch said nervous system regulation and attunement with Mother Earth looking more like the answer. Yes. Okay. Your mind is about information. It knows information, okay? I'm gonna give y'all a secret when it comes to shifting your reality, okay? Your mind knows information. Your nervous system is the key to embodiment. You know how you shift your reality? By embodying the version of yourself who has what you want, okay? It don't matter how much you think about shit if it's not embodied if it's not in the body, if it's not embodied, if your nervous system is not saying, oh yes, we feel safe here, nothing's gonna fucking shit for you. Information is here. Embodiment is here. You cannot shift if your thinking is here, but there's no embodiment. Nothing will shift. That's what they not telling y'all. They telling y'all to listen to subliminals and do the 369 method and affirm. Well, babe, if you still have trauma, you can't. You can do it. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So sorry, not really. So y'all need to get it through y'all skulls. And the problem is, y'all don't want to do that. A lot of y'all want a fast ass method. Y'all heard somebody on TikTok say, oh my God, I manifested $50,000 in 30 days, and now y'all saying, oh, let me do that. Listen, you can't do that because you don't have that person's nervous system. And then you think you're broken because it's not working for you. It's not gonna work for you when your body is like, I don't feel safe holding 50K. What the fuck is going on? I never even made 50K in a year, let alone make it in 30 days. And it's like, y'all not, like, yes. Are we spiritual beings? Absolutely. We are. But we're also spiritual beings having a human experience. And so we have to be grounded in the fact that we have a body that is dense, that holds lower energy. Everything is frequency. Everything is vibration. Okay? So even though you are a spiritual being, and the part of you that is unchanged and unmoved, right? Because before you came into this physical body, your spirit was able to think itself into something, and it was automatically that. Because it's light. It's energy. It's light. It's a light body. It's energy. Right? So it can think its way into abundance. It can think abundance and automatically exude that because it's energy. But now you've reincarnated into a body, a vessel that has the ability to store trauma, right? That has the ability to store denser energy. When I say denser energy, I mean energy that's rooted in fear. So now that you've reincarnated into a body, a vessel, you can think your way and say, hey, I'm abundant, and feel abundant for 2 minutes. You can. Because you're spirit first, which is energy. You're energy first. But you also have a body in this human experience. So that means that it don't matter what I know to be true. It don't matter what I know. I gotta feel the truth of that consistently. Not for 5 minutes. Not visualize for 10 minutes and then I go on about my day, but then throughout the day I'm still feeling fear and lack. No, that's not gonna work either. Because life responds to your dominant vibration. So if you're feeling abundant for 5 minutes and the rest of the 23 plus hours you're feeling fear and lack, reality is gonna show you the dominant vibration. Okay? So you have to incrementally start to train your nervous system to hold more light, which is what? Healing yourself. That's it. You gotta heal. You gotta heal yourself. Thank you, baby. And y'all not trying to do that. Y'all want this fast ass manifestation surface level shit, but you got deep ass trauma. Make it make sense? It don't make fucking sense. And I understand that a lot of y'all don't understand that. Y'all want fast ass manifestation shit because in the spiritual community, and I don't even want to put it on the spiritual community, because a lot of y'all say y'all spiritual, but y'all performing spirituality. That's a whole nother conversation for another day y'all ain't ready for. Hello? And it's no judgment, it's just facts here. Right? Yes. Balancing Calista said microwave. Y'all want microwavable results when y'all got fucking non-microwavable trauma. That shit was developed over years. Years. So you can't say, oh, let me just think positive for a little bit and I'm good. No. That's not how that gonna work. It's not gonna work. Appreciate you putting in terms of beginners confused. Yeah. Lifetimes for some of y'all, because some of y'all are actually here to heal your generation. Y'all are the ones where the energy is supposed to move through your body. You're supposed to process the energy, clear the energy, so that those who come after you are not operating from the same generational curses that those who came before you were operating from. For a lot of y'all, the curse is supposed to end with you. But you want this microwavable results, like Calista said, that y'all not doing the work. You don't know that your spirit chose to come here to be the generational curse breaker. You can't be the generational curse breaking by thinking about abundance. You can't break generational curses of lack by thinking about abundance. You gotta embody that shit, which means you gotta clear that shit out first. Y'all think that, and I'm gonna show a visual, right? Because I don't have my board today. If you have all this trauma that's stored up in the body, up to here, you start to affirm, I'm abundant, I'm abundant, I'm abundant, I'm abundant, I'm abundant. You're putting positive energy on top of negative energy. So then what happens with y'all? Y'all oscillate. Y'all go back and forth between the survival identity and your authentic self, or who you're trying to shift into. Why? Because you have not cleared this energy first. You have not cleared the trauma first. So, guess what? The trauma is still your dominant vibration. It don't matter how much you affirm. It don't matter how much you think. It don't matter how much you speak. It don't matter what the fuck you say. The trauma's still in there. So guess what's happening in your auric field? You're attracting more trauma. You're attracting more things that confirm what you already believe to be true about yourself. That's what you're doing. Because y'all don't want to do the fucking work. And I'm actually sick of it. And it's the thing. Because some of y'all know better, okay? Some of y'all know that y'all have to do the work, but y'all don't want to do it because you just don't feel like doing it for yourself. And I would ask myself the question, why am I willing to show up to this job and build somebody else's dream, somebody else's bank account, somebody else's child 401k, somebody else's child's funds, but I'm not willing to do the work so that my future children and those who come after me don't have to worry about lack? It is always self-sabotage, Kevin. It's always that. But y'all have to be willing to see, okay, I know how the mind works. I know that it likes familiarity. And so because it likes familiarity, I know that every time I try to step outside of who I've been being, it's going to try to come up with these stories to keep me exactly where I am. Not because it hates me, but because it's trying to keep me safe. Maybe some of y'all don't know that, okay? I just taught you that in 2 seconds. Okay? What'd she say? Kazia, there's something called the pain body, and it is difficult to train. It is not difficult to train unless you say it is. Is it work involved in that? Absolutely. It's not. The pain body is not difficult to train, though. It's not. It's just a process. I know the process of how to clear the energy out the pain body. That's what I do with my clients. It's not difficult to train, though. It just takes repetition, and it takes you being aware of yourself so you can shift yourself. When you are doing affirmations and things like that, they work when you've already cleared energy out, right? But when you're somebody who still has a lot of trauma, what you do is you affirm. Intellectually, it feels right. And even for 2 minutes, you can feel 5 minutes, you can feel 30 minutes, you can feel, but then you revert back to your old identity. Why is that? Because you have trauma in the body, okay? So you're basically putting positive energy on top of lower, denser energy. You're putting lighter energy on top of denser energy. Well, guess what? The denser energy is still your dominant vibration, and life is responding to your dominant vibration. Does that make sense? That's why you can get, let's say you affirm, right? And you get some movement in the 3D. Just a little bit of movement in the 3D. You get a little bit, right? The moment you get a little bit of movement, that survival identity pops back up, and then the movement stops. And it's because you still have that trauma. So most of your life is responding to the trauma that is in you, that already exists. Does that make sense? Are we understanding that? Are we understanding that, y'all? I sincerely apologize. I sincerely apologize for going off like that. That is really not me. I promise you it's not. But that really pissed me off. I don't know why that made me so mad. I'm going to have to dig into that after this live and figure out why that pissed me off so much. Hey, baby. Because my soul family, if they're here, which I see some of them, they know that I've never even done that before. You know, that's not even in me. Girl, I had to curse somebody out. Really bad. Yes, Ellie, you do have to touch some grass. You need to cry. You need to cry a lot. Crying is a level of releasing. Yes, you cannot put a lot of positive energy on negative energy. Now, am I saying that it's not possible for you to do that? Absolutely, you can do that, okay? But you're not going to get the consistent results that you want, okay? Yes. So, reality is responding to you from moment to moment to moment, okay? That's why in every moment, things can shift. That's why one moment you can feel super happy, and then you start to see life in a different way because life is responding to the meaning that you assign it, and you have a higher level of consciousness at that point. You have a lighter energy flow. Thank you, babies. So then, now reality is different. And then that's why 5 minutes later, you start feeling bad, and all of a sudden the way that you see reality is in a negative way. And now your energy is lower, it's denser. So now you see life completely different, and you don't feel the same, right? How do you get trauma out the body? You have to clear the energy. You can do energy clearing. Go to somebody who does energy clearing. Like I do energy clearing. I do emotional processing. I do nervous system regulation work with my clients. Yes, that's why you feel stuck. That's so cute. I think I've seen that one from you before. Journalism, you're talking about journaling, YNR Shay? Journalism? You mean journaling? Journaling helps you to get your thoughts, and this is the thing about journaling that's really helpful as well. Journaling helps you to separate what you're feeling from who you truly are. So putting the journaling, your thoughts and your feelings on paper creates a level of separation and space that's really important when you are doing your healing work, okay? Good. The last Dark Unicorn said, I have been journaling hard these past few weeks, and it helped, and that's because when you're journaling, that's a form of release, right? I love that you're using your notes app, Ellie, but I would encourage you to write. Writing is better. Literally. If you have notes, great, but writing it out is better. It's a better form of release. I'm telling you what I know, okay? Yes, when you write, you do connect. You connect to the trauma, the energy. You're able to feel it, you're able to release it. Lucky Charms, yes, writing will help you process. So if somebody asks me how do you clear the energy, write, start journaling. Start journaling. Y'all have to realize that the body is a computer. It's like a computer. You have downloaded a program, software, that is fear-based, okay? Now, what you have to do is undownload the fear-based program and download a program that actually aligns with who you truly are as a fractal of source. Thank you, baby. Oh, yes, thank you. Let's get a close-up on the nails. I love pink. I love Barbie. So, yeah. Yes, the brain responds to what's familiar. What was I just saying? God damn it. I hate when that happens. I never remember what I'm saying. What was I saying? Oh my God. That's the thing about channeling. I don't know what I say after it's over. Journaling and releasing. Journaling and releasing. What was I saying? Yes. Okay, you're like, okay, right. So you're like a computer, right? You download the negative software. Okay, well you can undownload it and throw it in the trash. But then and download new software. Okay? With you, same thing, kind of. Let me explain the difference. You have downloaded negative software because you've been indoctrinated into a fear-based society. Okay? You have to undownload that software, which is unlearn the software, which means for you going through a process of healing and integration. Okay? And then you have to download not even new software for you, and this is why it's different. Because who you truly are is a fractal of source. Before you came here, when you were a child, you were pure. You're still pure, but in the sense that you had no internal beliefs, you had no nothing, okay? Because you were operating in this light body energy. You were not programmed yet. And so when you were a baby, you were operating in your wholeness, your completeness, your abundance, all the things already. But as you grew up in these families who are also controlled and programmed by society, you also then became controlled and programmed, and now you're operating from a program that many of you are unconscious of. You don't take your negative and make it positive, you remove the negative, okay? Does that make sense? So you are, and that's why the work that I do with my clients, I'm not helping you become someone new. You don't have to become someone new, because, and soul family, y'all know this already. I say this to y'all all the time. You do not have to become someone new, because becoming someone new would imply that who God created you to be is not enough as you are. You're already enough, but you're already enough though, right? So because you're already enough, before the world told you that you weren't, before your family maybe for some of y'all made you believe that you weren't, before school, before religion, before your careers made you think that you weren't, you were already enough. So now it's not even about learning something new, because your soul already knows what's true. Your soul already knows that you are enough. But because you have free will, thank you, Marissa, you're able to choose to play in fear and lack if you want to. Because the soul knows that all of it is a game anyway. All of it is just an experience that consciousness is having, that God is having through you. Does that make sense? So there is your spirit is going to interfere with whatever you're creating, because you have the free will to do that. You can play in fear if you want to. You can play in lack if you want to. Thank you, Lucky Charm. It's not a bad, that's why good and bad is not a bad thing. It's a human construct. They're not bad things. It's just a human construct. I love you, baby. So if you want to play in fear, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why I always say, with this shift in consciousness that's happening, some people will choose to play out their lessons in fear, and that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Yes, you are the universe. Universe. Everything that's happening in here is being projected out here. Life is showing you yourself. So you can play in fear and lack if you want to, or you can play in love and abundance. It's your choice. Am I glitching? Thank you, baby. Y'all tell me, am I glitching? Okay. I'm about to say, hold on now. I'm back. Yeah. Okay, good. So yeah, y'all gotta tell me if I'm glitching or not. Hold on now. Hold on. Let me know something. That's so cute. Thank you. It's lagging here and there. Oh my gosh, shut up. Really? No, they not, twin. It's still glitching? Am I still glitching in this hole? You're lying. Y'all tell me if I'm still glitching. God damn it. Am I really? So what does it look like on here? Oh, they hate it. It's a lot of hateration going on. It's a lot of hateration and holleration going on in this hole. I just keep freezing. Better. Y'all giving me, they slowing me down. They can't slow me down. They can't slow me down. Okay. Let me know, y'all, if it's glitching. Okay, let me know. I put my hotspot near my phone, so it shouldn't be glitching anymore. Because they got me fucked up. Rudy said it's cool till you drop some heat, then it glitch. See? You see, it's a lot of hateration and holleration going on in this dancery, and I don't like that. I don't like that. Not one bit. Now, what was I saying? Y'all, what was I saying? Do we remember? God, I hate this. And it's Mercury retrograde, too, so I don't... Hi, baby. We are computers, new identity. What else was I saying? Nails are so cute. Thank you, baby. What was that? We are taught to fear, but we want to... Yes, okay, that's what it is. Thank you, Marissa. So what happens is you have free will, right? And so spirit is like, okay, because spirit knows that you are consciousness. Spirit knows that you are God. And so because spirit knows that, it also knows that God is God. And so God can choose to play with it. God can choose to play in whatever level of consciousness it chooses for itself, right? Because it knows that it is still inherently whole, abundant, complete, and lacking nothing. So y'all, because you have free will, because you are consciousness, because you are God, because you are awareness, you have the ability to go ahead and create whatever you want. A lot of y'all just playing in fear and you don't know if that's a choice. You think that, oh, my life is this way because of that. No, it's a choice. It's something you're choosing. And you can choose to play in love. You can choose to play in abundance. You can choose to play in wholeness. You can choose to play in worthiness. You can choose to play that game as well. But you're just choosing something else and you don't realize that you have choice. And that's why awareness is so important, because awareness gives you choice. Awareness lets you be able to see that, wait, I have a choice in this way. I don't have to live the life that they told me I had to live. I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck like I've seen my parents do and my family do. I get to actually be the person that breaks the generational curse. I get to be the person that actually has a completely different life than what I was exposed to as a child. Yes, you get to have that if you choose that for yourself. But a lot of y'all don't know who y'all are. And even if you do know who you are, some of y'all have gone through a spiritual awakening, but then you're not doing the work to teach your body safety in what you know to be true, what you know you deserve to have. And so because you're not willing to do that work, or you don't know that that's the work that you're supposed to do, you stay exactly where you are. And then nothing shifts. So then y'all out here performing spirituality like, yes, I know I'm abundant and da-da-da-da, but your life don't reflect. You're not doing the work. You're not doing the work. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be willing to show up for yourself, because nobody's going to save you. With this new earth frequency, nobody is going to save you. Nobody. You have to save yourself. And you have all the tools needed to save yourself. But a lot of y'all don't believe that y'all have the tools, okay? You just comfortable. And so y'all don't know how magnificent our bodies are. That they will keep us exactly where we are to the point that we will self-sabotage just so it can be safe, because your body is literally designed to protect you, not to be accurate. It don't care if you're successful. Your nervous system don't care if you're successful. Your nervous system don't care if you abundant. Your nervous system don't care if you love yourself. Your nervous system don't care if you feel worthy. Your nervous system don't care if you feel like you enough. Your nervous system don't care if you attract the right kind of partners. Your nervous system don't care about that. It cares about, are we fucking safe? Is everything okay? Your mind don't care about you being successful. Your mind wants certainty. It wants safety. Are we okay? So what you have to do, what the hell? What you have to do is show up anyway. Do the thing anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Emotions are just energy in motion. That's all they are. You as spirit came here to experience all of the emotions, good and bad, right? Because like I said, good and bad is a human construct. Okay? You came here to experience all of the emotions. And you have to understand that negative energy, denser energy is allowed to move through you, and you're still going to be safe. You're still going to be safe, baby. Lighter energy is allowed to move through you, and you're still going to be safe. But you don't want to feel... Lighter energy is allowed to move through you, and you're still going to be safe. But you don't want to feel the denser shape lump. You're going to be safe, though, when you feel it. You're going to be safe when you clear the energy. You're going to be safe when you process, but you don't know that. And then, a lot of y'all, you don't know. You're going to be safe when you clear the energy. You're going to be safe when you process, but you don't know that. And then, a lot of y'all, you don't know how to do the work. You don't know how to do the work. So, y'all have to be, like, I get that manifestation is it's a buzzword, and I understand that it's been around for a minute now, but... there's work involved. There's work required, especially when you have psyche level wounds, when you have nervous system level wounds, when you have trauma stored in the body, when you didn't have the best childhood, when you didn't have the best experiences. Okay? You can't just jump from where you are to where you want to be like that. Your body is dense. It's matter. It's heavy. It takes a little bit of time to move through the energy. And as long as you're willing to consistently show up for yourself and do your inner work, your reality will shift. Your reality will shift. It has no choice, because life has to show you yourself. That's how energy works. That's how this reality works. This all is mind. Everything that you're perceiving outside of you is because it exists in you. But if you change what's in you, if you change the inner world, the outer world has to shift as a result of that. And yet y'all continue to when you're in the void, shifting identity, you don't see what you want outside of you fast enough, and so that you give up, or you revert back, or you toggle between the old self and the new self. You decide, you know what, I'm going to show up and be this new person. Even though you really don't need to be anybody new, you're just returning to your wholeness, right? And then after I show up, something in physical reality triggers me. I don't get what I want. I don't see what I want fast enough, so then I revert back. Yeah, Ellie returning to wholeness. That's what I teach my clients. You don't have to be a new person. All you have to do is return to yourself, because your true self that exists, your authentic self that exists, it's not even being Delulu. It's not even being Delulu. I hate that terminology. I hate it. Why is it delusional to think that you deserve abundance? Why is it delusional to think that you deserve the best in life? Do y'all see how y'all talking? Semantics is important, and words carry energy. Why do y'all think it's delusional to thrive instead of survive? Why do y'all think that's delusional? That's crazy. You gotta pay attention to the words that you use, because words are important. Es muy importante, ¿sí o no? And so because the words that you use are important, the energies that you use are important, it's not delusional to have what you want. It's actually the way that it was intended to be for you. It's not delusional to think that you can have the kind of partner that you want. It's intended to be that way for you. I don't like that whole, oh, we gotta be delusional. No, you don't actually. You actually don't.